everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Rambling Teatime here with Chris and Kim.
Hello.
Kimberly, how are you doing today?
I am well.
Okay,
I'm very
I am
well.
also well.
Okay, great.
Right, a little bit under the weather, like literally because the weather has been quite terrible lately. But
Yes,
yeah,
it rains because it's the rainy season.
okay, that's true.
hmm
Well, what are we drinking today, Kim?
We are having Tazo Classic Chai.
Classic
It
chai.
it is chai.
Okay,
hmm
I like it.
Yes, I like it as well. It is smoother than I was expecting, but it still has like that black tea kind of bitterness, but it's not too much either.
Mm.
And it's a nice chai.
It's better. It's one of the better chais we've had on the show, and I, I really like Tazo's teas. And I think as I drink more of them, I'm becoming more and more biased to them, and just
Well,
slowly being brainwashed into liking this brand of tea, Kim. And I don't mind.
it's not, I don't know. It's yeah. Tazo has some good teas, good
Yeah,
quality, nice teas. Yeah.
yeah. This is good. It's not as well for me. Well, you said it was like light, but this is the perfect.
I didn't say it's
I
light.
mean, smooth. Sorry. This is the perfect blend of, I guess, the things that are going to make a chai for me. It isn't
Okay.
too overpowering and it isn't too light for me. It's just the right middle road.
Right. So when I say smooth, it's not about the weight of the tea.
I get what you mean. It was my
It's
mistake.
the feel, the texture.
Yeah, it's perfect. I also I like this with milk and a little bit of sugar.
hmm
Not so much like too much milk or anything like cream like that, but just enough sugar. Perfect. So
Yeah.
yeah, this
I
gets a
mean,
9 out of 10
it's not
for me.
like the best chai,
It
but
is
it's not
not.
a bad chai.
It is exactly.
It's a good chai. Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel terrible when I drink it. Like some other chais that I won't mention right now do.
Okay. Right then. So, today we are going to be talking about reviewing a show that we just recently watched on Netflix called Castlevania. It is
Yes.
an animated series based off of the Japanese games of the same name, Castlevania. Um, yeah, it's about vampires.
Did you know anything about Castlevania before watching the series or like by the name or whatnot?
No,
Uh, I will. Yeah, I
I
played
know
a
that you
couple of
did.
the games when we were younger. I also had the DS one, not the DS one. Well, I did play the DS one. Well, I played a bunch of them, but I remember really liking, I think, Harmony of Dissonance on the Game Boy Advance. In that, you also play as Alucard.
hmm
So I quite enjoyed seeing Alucard being like a main character in this. I didn't know anything about the what the show was pulling for
Right,
and
because
whatnot going
you
in.
had said that the show it brings together a bunch of different
Yes,
stories from the
yes,
games.
many like there's I think Castlevania Dark Dracula's Curse. That one is where Trevor comes from. Another one has where Alucard's background story comes from. Oh well, they just took a bunch of stuff and threw it into a show. And for what it is, they really did a good job of showing you Castlevania in an animated show format.
Yes, I agree. I think it was a great show of animation
Mm-hmm.
as well as how to adapt a game.
Yeah.
The storyline, even I didn't know what the games are about,
Yes.
but as I was watching it, I did not feel like maybe this thing did not work
Mm.
well. I kind of felt like that at the end
Ah,
in season four.
oh, we'll get to
We'll
that.
talk about that later, I guess. But everything else, I felt like it worked well. The writers really did a good job of putting different storylines together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
I really do like the dialogue in this.
Yes.
I think that is probably one of the strongest points the show has going for it. It's just characters interacting with one another and speaking and talking. It's like the animation is great, yes.
Right.
The action is fantastic, yes. The choreographed fights and everything is superb, but just the dialogue between characters is
Yes,
so great.
I also agree with that. It felt like every time characters had a conversation with each other, their words actually had weight. They had meaning.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like useless like small talk. No conversations in the show were like that.
Yeah.
Everything meant something.
And they were engaging conversations too
They
because it
were.
helped like expand on many characters' motivations, who they are, what it's just good. I just
Yeah.
felt so engrossed in this, just listening to the dialogue and just like the writers really did a good
You
job.
know what I think as well? I think that this could be in book form with the same voice actors, not maybe the action, maybe that part could be narrated by a actual different narrator, or it could be told from someone's point of view, but the dialogue is that good.
Yes, it is. This is novel worthy type stuff going
Yeah,
on. It's not bad at all.
it isn't.
And it carries the show as well. The show doesn't need the weighty dialogue, but because of it, it is so much better than so many things out there. I think this is
Indeed.
my favorite thing that's actually watched from Netflix. Like,
You
seriously,
mean,
overall.
okay, so I don't know. We watch a lot of Netflix things. I would say this is probably peak animation Netflix.
Yes.
Or peak Netflix animation, however you want to word that. We haven't really seen any anime
I mean,
from
there's a
Netflix.
few that I've seen.
I've seen one that was like in 3D and I don't know if I was really feeling it. I watched it and I said to myself I'm gonna watch the second season as well, but I don't know. It's not like this.
Yeah.
It's not good like this.
Yes.
So there's that. But yeah, um it was it was really good. It was really entertaining. It was really involving. I didn't feel bored.
Yes.
I didn't feel bored,
There's
Christopher.
no
And I
time
love
to
that.
feel bored.
Exactly. There's no time to feel bored.
Yes.
Things are always happening. I think the pacing was done really well.
Hmm. Well,
What?
maybe season three, but that was deliberately kind of a slowdown in a way for the characters.
I actually felt like it was season four
That was
that,
slow.
if you want to say no, if you want to say that a part of it did get kind of like, I don't know about this, is season four for me.
Oh,
Because they're
okay.
like, it changed, right? And everything got more like heady and more, I don't know, like requiring more intelligence to
Are
stay
you
on.
saying that you're a stupid kid?
No, no, I'm not stupid, but I'm just saying
It didn't feel any more heady to me or anything like that.
it was though.
Maybe towards the very end when it got with that spoiler
Let's
surprise
just
at the end.
say, okay, so everyone, you know that we always do spoilers if there's anyone even
So
actually
we're
listening.
we're just
So
jumping straight to the end right now.
we'll just jump to the end. So probably anyone who's played the games knows about this because you've said before
Yes,
that
death
death turns up.
a lot in the video games,
Exactly.
either as a
So,
mini boss or a boss. But yeah,
yes, this is the
constantly.
part that I had a problem with when they introduced death at
Right
the
at the end.
end of
Yes.
season 4. I was just thinking,
You wish it
I
was
don't
more
know.
build up. I do agree
No,
as well. I
I don't
agree.
feel like
I,
they're
I think he should have introed earlier, or because the only time that I really thought that Varney might have been deaf is when he's speaking with Ratko. You remember when they have their like fight conversation? Well, not there's they're arguing with one another, and Ratko is like, he's the vampire. He hates Barney. I really love that conversation. By the way, he goes
Mhm.
in about why he is who he is, why Varney is a shit. And Varney says one thing, and one thing only that really kind of clues in that he might be something, is that he keeps Ratko around because he creates death, because he feeds on it. And that's the only thing that could really hint at him being deaf.
Okay, he didn't say anything though.
Exactly. And
Um,
I think it would have been better if we'd at least seen death earlier in the season, or maybe season at the end of season
right,
3.
right. I don't disagree with that. When it comes to these kind of things, you wanna, like you said, hint at something.
Yeah.
Because if you just do it one day, so
But the fight was great though.
okay, you're like, I don't know how to feel about this.
That whole fight at the end was fantastic though. I
It was
loved it.
okay.
It was nuts. It was great. It was good. I liked it.
Okay.
My probably like least favorite season would probably be season 3 in a way, because of how much time they kind of spent uh like doing mystery shit type of thing, and Alucard and his like depression
We really
just
need to
farting
talk about
around.
my son.
Your
I
son.
have two sons.
Okay, you have two sons. Explain.
Alucard is my son and Isaac is my
Ah,
son. These are
Isaac
my
is my son.
children, and no matter what they do, I will always have them.
Well, one of them is a murderer, and one of them is a murderer.
You're not wrong, and I'm not denying it. And I just said, no matter what they do, I'll always have them.
You're a great mom, Kim.
That's right. You better know it. Anyway, so season 3 was with after what's their name? Cypher and Trevor, they left, and we'll get to that afterwards. They left my son Alucard alone. Okay. Um, to go off on like their honeymoon or whatever,
Uh-huh.
adventuring and stuff like that. And yeah, encounter, I don't know,
They're just
adventures.
like fighting the beasts that
Right,
lying
right. That was
around,
their
whatever
thing.
vampires and stuff like that, until they come across that village where the something crashed into the church and it turned all the churchmen
Right.
into crazy people.
That's
And
the, is that the slow kind of part you thought? That
yes,
being
it
at the village?
yes, that pacing around the village. I understand why, because you need to slow down after the events, and you normally would just give your characters a small little story to do after something as big as killing Dracula, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we see how that's affected the two of them. Sifa has the new love for adventure, want to fight and do good type of thing. She's on board with that. Alucard is dealing with his depression
My son.
and just being sad after having to kill his father in his childhood bedroom of all places.
Yeah.
Trevor is being Trevor, and he's just going alright because that's how life has treated him for like ever. And you slow down in that village, and the slow mystery keeps building. We get introduced to Saint Germain, who's this apparent wizard who's looking for this thing called the Infinite Corridor.
Right.
I'm going to be really weird. I was not sure where they were going with the Infinite Corridor
Neither
whole
did I.
storyline
And
when they
actually,
open
I
it.
think this is one of the reasons why I did not. like rate it as high as you. I actually thought that the Infinite Corridor has so much potential in a show
Yes.
like this.
Yes,
You
it
know,
did.
talking about all the creatures and all the beasts and everything. But I did not feel like they used it as well. Like, because it came into play in the fourth season.
Yeah, it showed
It
up in the
was
third season
right,
and was used more in the fourth season
right.
and at the end of the third.
It uh it
Interesting
was not
thing.
enough.
Yes.
Our let's say our main characters did not really have any interaction with that.
Yes.
And I understand that maybe that's none of the storylines at all. It may not be,
It was
but
all
it could
about
have been.
it was all about making him a villain, I
You
guess.
mean Saint Germain?
Yeah.
Okay, it could have been as his storyline, they could have done something more though, still, I feel.
Mm.
The whole at the end with Barney and the rebus, the souls of Dracula and Lisa. Ugh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I won't deny it. It got kind of wonky.
Exactly.
That
You don't
whole,
deny.
I don't deny it.
Good.
It got wonky because I'm not the biggest fan of Saint Germain in
Mm-hmm.
my as a character. He's still interesting, but the Infinite Corridor, the woman he's trying to find in the Infinite Corridor, all of that feels. You don't even hear that woman speak once.
Exactly.
And we
See,
joked about
we
that
as
in the
Christopher,
flashback.
this is why I'm saying, and it's such the way that they brought it across is so interesting as well. This infinite
They
corridor
could
through
go
space and
anywhere.
times and different worlds. And I'm just like, okay, y'all gonna make use of this somehow. Somehow?
I thought what they were going to do is something that happens in the games where so you have normal Dracula's castle
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the I think this is definitely Harmony of Dissonance I remember, but there's the opposite side where there's another dimension where there's a castle there. So you might defeat the monsters in the first castle, but then in the second castle, as there's another dimension, you have to go there and kind of like fight in that too with stronger enemies and whatnot. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that what they were going to do with like the Infinite Corridor is maybe something like that, where we fought Dracula in this one dimension and we thought we killed him, but he's in another castle, kind of, or something like that. Or there's some other creatures in the infinite dimension that are coming through that we need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were going to do something more with hell and
I
how
thought so as well.
creatures, well, because Isaac was having that conversation with one of his smarter night creatures,
Right.
talking about how some of them have like memories of who they were before they were sent to hell, because you go to hell and then you get your soul pulled out and you get turned into a night creature by a forge master. And I was thinking, okay, maybe they're going to use the infinite corridor more to go to hell,
I
to do
thought so
stuff with
too.
that. But it just always comes down to trying to grab Dracula out of hell or whatnot. I thought maybe they would have at least thrown one of the main characters into hell or something. That would have
Yeah.
been interesting to
Yeah.
see. I don't, but like I said, the Infinite Corridor is interesting, but I don't think they did enough with it to really they the only because they only had Saint Germain being the person who's traveling around in it, or
Mm-hmm.
we actually see from his point of view being in it, is kind of meh. I would have rather preferred maybe like Sifa or maybe
Cypher.
Sypha, Sifa. I keep messing it up. Be or Trevor be the one to like see it, or maybe have Alucard end up in it and seeing his parents or something like that, and
Yeah.
have that affect him in some sort of way. But I'm also glad they kind of didn't use it so much as well.
It's
Is
okay. I
yeah,
just thought that it there was more potential there, and
yes,
even if they didn't do anything, it didn't interact with our main characters. I felt
yes,
like Saint Germain's story did not go anywhere anyways.
yeah. But it,
It didn't. It
it
didn't.
it
It
was
didn't.
all yeah,
It didn't. Listen, the only
yeah,
thing that he like properly did was save Trevor at the end,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Because he kind of became a villain, literally was working with vampires at the end, ripped both Vlad and Lisa's soul out of hell, by the way. And then, like, gets killed for his hubris by being tricked by the
Death.
death.
Yeah.
Ah, well, we've discussed the end. Let's go back to the beginning and the middle.
Okay. So, Castlevania begins when Dracula's wife, Lisa Tepish, has been killed because she's accused of being a witch, aka she was just smart and knew science. Okay, and they told her that she was a witch. She burned at the stake, and then Dracula's all like, "Really, people?" And then he's like, "I'm gonna kill everyone, woo!" And so he sends out all of his creatures of the
He actually
night to
gave them
kill
one
people.
year. He gave them a whole year.
Yeah, yeah, he was all like, y'all
He's
get y'all act together in 1 year and I'll be back to set y'all straight.
he was like planning with all his vampire lords and
Yes, yes, yes. He came together with his vampire lords to wage a war on the rest of the world. And it did not work out well.
that's true. But we also got introduced to the more interesting characters, in my opinion.
The two interesting characters that Christopher is talking about, I assume, are Isaac and Hector,
Yes.
which are the Forge Masters.
Mm-hmm.
They are human, and what they are able to do is kind of like, I don't know, turn dead human bodies, they have to be human, are other creatures back to life and turn them into so-called night
Mm-hmm.
creatures. Yeah. And they were added to the army of the vampires, and it didn't work out. Anyway, we want to talk about them separately from everything that was going on.
Maybe you can talk about them. Let's talk about them.
Okay,
As
so Hector.
yes,
When we first meet Hector, he is no, but when we first meet both Hector and Isaac,
like
they're
Dracula's most
Dracula's
trusted.
people.
Yes,
Yeah,
most
he trusts
trusted.
them more than he trusts the vampires under him. The other vampires don't like that. There's people like Godbrand.
Godbrand. Oh gosh, I forgot all about
Yes,
him.
Godbrand ends up getting killed by
Isaac.
Isaac
Yeah,
because he threatened to betray Dracula.
which
So,
ended up happening anyways.
right. Um, anyhow, so they are his most trusted people.
Yes,
Isaac is more loyal.
Isaac.
I don't want to say that he's like more loyal, but he knows all he at the time he knew
I,
all of Dracula's plans.
yes,
Hector didn't, and that's why
yes.
he felt a certain way when he started to see things, but he ended up getting
By
used
Carmilla.
by Carmilla, who is a vampire like queen
Yes.
badass lady who comes in and she's all like telling Dracula that he's doing it wrong, not in that kind of way, but basically she's all like, I could do this but better later on,
Yes.
basically, and she decides to start a coup
Yes.
against Dracula, and that happens. So
Yeah, that happens, and Hector kind of ends up betraying Dracula as
he
well.
did,
And
and he becomes Carmilla's slave.
yes. But that's right around the time where or it's so weird in that our main characters hardly ever meet our other set of main characters.
It's fine. It's fine. We were talking about this the other day. I asked you if there was anything that you had seen, any kind of stories in any kind of medium,
Hmm.
where the main characters don't interact.
Yes, but because their actions affect each other.
Right. This is one of them.
Yes.
We have our let's call them
Heroes.
our heroes
Hmm.
in the beginning are Cypher, Trevor, and Alucard.
Yes.
They're the ones who are trying to kill Dracula so that he
Yes.
can stop this whole massacre on the world.
Yes.
And then our other main characters, I'm gonna call Carmilla a main
Yes.
character
Yeah.
at a
Yeah. Yeah.
time.
Especially.
Carmilla, Hector, Isaac, and let's say Dracula were main
Yes.
characters at the time. They, the only encounter that these characters have
It's
are at
right
the
at the end of
end of I
season
think
two
season 2.
for the
Yeah,
fight.
when what's his name? What's his name? Dracula fights against Trevor, Cypher, and Alucard.
Mhm.
So yeah, they
I
don't meet.
yeah.
They've actually never met the others.
Yes. And I think that's kind of the strength of the show. The stories for each of the characters, the journey, and how
They're strong enough that
actions.
they don't need to meet the other characters, kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Nobody carries the show in a
Everyone does
way.
it together.
Yes.
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 So Hector ends up being the poor, tricked slave of Carmilla.
Yes.
A lot of the fight goes down between Dracula, Cypher, Trevor, Alucard. All of that happens kind of at the end of season 2,
Yeah.
and they destroy the teleporting crystal that allows
The
the
castle
castle
to
to move,
move, right.
and Dracula the fight ends up, and Dracula is inside of Alucard's room,
Right.
and he
They
kind
they
of
they're fighting and the fight leads them in there
uh-huh he
and
breaks down.
Dracula, well, he sees the photo of his wife, Lisa,
Uh-huh.
who, was the reason for all of this
In the first
madness
place.
going on, as he is about to kill Alucard, and he says, I'm killing our boy.
Yeah.
I'm killing our boy. And that's where he has his breakdown, like you said.
Yeah. Because he
And yeah,
realized, what the fuck am I even doing right
right.
now?
But we already knew that what he wanted is to die
Yes. Yeah.
so that he could be reunited with her again
I really like
in
I
death.
really do appreciate the characterization of Dracula in this.
Hmm.
Because they could have just made him the big evil for doing evil's sake,
Yeah,
But the man they killed his wife.
they did.
They
Wrongfully,
they
Christopher.
fucking killed
They
his
killed her
wife.
because she was smart, Christopher.
Exactly. They literally killed his wife because she was helping people by being a daughter.
Lord, Lord, Lord.
I know, right? And so you kind of understand. You might give them 1 year or two. He's like, I can come back in 1 year and fucking kill all y'all.
I mean, if I had seen the him come out of the sky like that,
I would have left.
exactly.
I would have
I was
packed my
leaving that
bags
place. Where was
and
that
left.
Targavisha? Oh my gosh. I was out of there
I was gone.
long ago. This
Oh.
kind of this is not normal. Why would I stay here?
Yeah, but he still went mad, and he realized that, and like Godbrand says it, like, this is just a prolonged suicide. It was pretty much that. He was going to kill as many people he can. He's going to kill as many vampires as he can, because you can see he kind of hates how they are as well. And he's going to take everything and everyone down with him that he can. So when he realizes that, I'm killing my son, why am I killing his son? I really like that. It's just like,
Me too.
he realizes in that moment, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And poor Alucard has to kill his own dad.
And he does.
And he
in
does
his
in his
room.
kid room, like,
Yeah.
and then Trevor and Cypher fuck off and leave him there.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay.
I
I'm
know
going to
you
say
want to
this to
talk
you.
this part.
I keep saying this, but when a person loses a loved one,
Uh-huh.
you want to give them their distance. Yeah. Time to think over
To
things
grieve.
and whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't leave them actually alone. You know what? You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
You give them their space. Leave them alone in their room. Leave them alone in the house. You know, swing by every now and then. You do not like leave the state and never contact them. You don't leave the country and be all like, well, they'll
Es-
be fine.
Especially seeing as they're like friends at this point and they
Yeah,
understand.
Christopher, that hurt me so badly. I felt so wronged for him. They shouldn't have left at that time.
Mm, mm.
But I don't know what kind of character building they wanted to do with Alucard because later on the betrayal that he incurs from those two brothers and sister, what is it,
Yes.
Taka and whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the name. Anyhow, the two brother and sister from
Japan.
Japan
Yeah.
who wanted to defeat the leader Cho, the vampire leader
That
Cho.
already died at the battle
Right.
at the castle.
They had came to Alucard for like help. You know, they didn't want
And
to
he
save their
was
people.
willing to train them.
Exactly.
He was
Exactly.
happy to have people around.
He was, and I was really,
Happy for him
happy
too.
for him. I didn't want him to be alone.
Me
He
neither.
shouldn't have been alone, but they got all kind of, I don't know, they got impatient.
I'm paranoid in a bit.
Yes, they thought that he would never want to teach them and that he would lie to them and not tell them what he knows or how to do anything.
They kept thinking that he was hiding that the castle could
Could
move,
move and
but
all kind of
it
things.
really
Anyhow,
couldn't.
so basically they got killed.
They tricked him into like, hey, we're going to help. You've been helping us for so long. You need a reward, and that's when we get the super sex scene
Can I
fiasco
tell you something?
that also
That
was
episode
occurring with a sex
was
scene
also
with
it was
Hector and
such a
Lenore.
pivotal episode and everything. It was the episode about control,
Yes,
about people's control over you, about your control over yourself, and over other things that affect you, and your lack of that control as well.
exactly.
About on like things on your environment or other things that are just, everything. Lots of things are out of people's control. But that episode was so impactful. I think it's my favorite episode
Yeah,
because at that time they're giving him his reward, which is this whole sexy thing. They're having the
Hector,
sex with Alucard, and that's going on.
Hector
And
and
then
Lenore.
Hector and Lenore, but that turns into she's only doing the whole sex thing, because she was working him the whole time, and she
Exactly.
puts that ring of control on him as
Yes.
well. You know,
That also the fight at the end with the church inside the church.
Isaac,
Like,
I don't know what
not
church.
Isaac.
Isaac is having a fight at that time though with the guy in the
Yes,
tower who tries to put that
mind
that
control
mind
thing.
control thing on him. It did not work,
He
but
broke the control.
that's the whole
Was it
that
not also
episode
the
was great.
episode where they had the big wait no, that's at the very end? Yeah. The big fight with the hell demon things and where Trevor and Sifra are. So many
Was that
varying
that
plot
episode?
lines. I don't think so. I might be remembering wrong. But I do.
Anyway, I liked that episode.
Yes, it was good because at the end, Hector is now a slave.
Yep.
Poor Alucard has to kill the two people who
He
he
did, and he
genuinely
ends
cared.
up on the ground in his room, his childhood room again,
Again,
crying. And
crying.
my heart for him,
Yeah,
Chris. What were they trying to do with his character is what I'm saying.
is
He
that
already was left alone, and then he was not alone, but then he was betrayed.
again? Well, not
No, he
again,
was
but
not betrayed
betrayed. But
again.
I think it's about how easily he. I think his whole part is like how easily he craved for connection. That he easily let those people in,
I
even
don't
though they
think it
wanted
was
help.
easy though for him to do that. It wasn't easily at all. Don't you see? Christopher, he had the stuffed Cypher and Trevor and was talking to
He
them,
was going mad.
and he realized it himself.
Ah,
I just,
it's
and
all Sifa and Trevor's fault.
it is
They should have stuck
actually.
around.
They
But at the same time,
whatever.
they went out and were killing things that would have hurt other people and stuff like that. So they were doing their thing too. They're trying to
I
do some
think they
good.
were a bit selfish to
Me
leave.
to just leave instantly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can
they
I
should have
tell you
stuck around
something?
a
There
bit.
is something that I wondered about.
What?
When this is like, I think, I don't know, it's either the first or the second season where Alucard, no, it's the first. It's the first? I can't remember.
Just say what you say.
Alucard asks Saifa if she knows the whole story. Because their people know the whole story surrounding the three of them coming together and the whole like
Ah,
prophecy
right,
about
right.
their lives, kind of, and what they go on to do. The whole story, I want to know where the prophecy ends. Does it end
Mm.
at like her? Does she know that she chose Trevor? Yes, she does, because she blushed. You saw that?
I don't remember
You don't
this
you don't get that, but they
prophecy
were
thing.
fighting. I think this was the first season
Uh-huh.
when they first met in like that dungeon place that was like
Where
way too
she
many layers. I mean, we met the core of the earth already, but whatever. Right. So Trevor and Alucard had fought for the first, they met for the first time, and Trevor
Right,
was like,
and
"We
they're
can't
talking
let
about the
out this
prophecy of the
thing."
soldier and the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
I think that was when he asked her if she knows the whole story.
Yes. I
And she
think.
blushed a little bit. I asked myself, why did she blush? It's because she and Trevor end up together.
I don't
But
think that was about
yes, it is.
that prophecy. I think it was just about the prophecy of the soldier and the whatever.
No, it was about them.
I don't remember. I'll have to. I really
Anyhow, okay.
don't remember.
Maybe I'm wrong, whatevs. I
I
wouldn't be
don't
the first
remember.
time. Anyways, yeah. I think
I
they shouldn't have left him, Christopher. That's my
yes.
opinion. They left too soon, left my son alone, and he was hurt and, depressed and everything, and he could barely, eat and anything. He just going crazy and everything, and then he was betrayed by those people and just, I
Well, it all worked out for him mostly in the end.
did it.
Yes, it did.
You mean the lady whose name I don't remember in the fourth
Greta.
season? Who?
Greta. That's her name.
Okay, she's great too because it seems that she can hold her own in a fight as well. But I don't know. Just anyone approaching Alucard, I'm just like, keep off because
Kibley's
everyone is so mean.
really.
Everyone is mean. I don't
Kim,
trust anyone now when it
Kim,
comes to him.
your mom energy about don't touch my child.
I am serious as well. You see how long his sword is? That amount of distance, at least, and from anybody around, because they're just cruel to him. The story was cruel to him.
Yeah, most of the time, Alucard gets the shit end of the stick
Yeah.
in most anything whenever he's a character.
Anyhow, moving on to my
Other son,
second.
which is also my son,
I mean, he can be your son too, I
Isaac.
guess, or whatever. I don't know.
I love Isaac's journey.
Isaac, yes, his journey, his everything is so, I don't know, intriguing, wonderful, great
He
for him.
was
His whole,
he was the most loyal, and I think Dracula and him were actually friends
they were best friends
because Dracula threw him through a portal at
to
the end
save him.
to save him.
He did.
He did. He didn't do that for anybody else. He threw him through the portal like, I'd rather have you live a human. I would sacrifice myself for you to live.
I mean, not that he didn't do it with anybody else, but he was
He
there
was
in the
there,
room. Do you
and yeah,
understand?
yeah, and he
I
would.
think that if Hector were there, he would have saved him as well.
And Isaac's loyalty was true. Like it wasn't
It
no it
wasn't
was worrying. It
faltering.
wasn't faltering or anything like that. It was true,
Yeah.
and he saved him. That starts off his whole journey about, am I going to be crazy evil man, or am I going to try to find a way to
Right.
change
He
the world?
has I think he has the most and the best character development.
Mm,
Cause his whole story is the journey that he takes,
yes,
to
trying
get
to get back to Striga, where Carmilla and her sisters are, to
right,
get revenge.
right.
But over that course of the journey, he slowly changes as a man.
Yes, I think
And his
it starts
ideals
when
change.
he first meets the guy who the ship,
The
the
ship guy,
captain.
captain. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When the captain's like, he's like, I could kill you, and like take the ship, and the captain's like, aye, you could
you
kill
could.
me. Yeah, you could, but then who will sail the ship?
Exactly.
And then he's like, I just love this conversation he has, but he's like, Isaiah's like, well, it can't be that hard. And the guy's like, but why would they have sailors if it isn't hard? I really just love the conversation they then have on the ship
Yeah,
about how he tells him that he worked for Dracula, how he wanted to kill the entire world. The captain's like, well, I realized that that probably didn't work because I'm still here. And he also says to him, Isaac, you're a super powerful wizard. Imagine what you could do if you actually decided to help people.
exactly.
And that conversation kind of sets him on a path. He still kills
It
tons of
exactly. He
people
still
though,
kills people
because people
after
get in
that,
his way.
but it gets him thinking
Yes,
about
what
what
he
could
could do.
be. What
Mm-hmm.
if he used his ability
Mm-hmm.
for not, like the world destruction.
And he also realizes he starts speaking. One of the night creatures that he pulls back, he
Right. They're
realizes
intelligent.
exactly. And with by conversating with him and finding out his past on how he became, he died and whatnot. And he's like over he had like two or three conversations with him and talking about how just because you're to use to be monsters or to eat and destroy doesn't mean that you have to just do that.
Exactly.
You could do whatever you want when you think about it. And that's kind of like when he finds out that the mind possessing guy is just killing people. Some wizard is just grabbing people from villages and using them to build a place with mind control. And Isaac just goes there, completely beats this living crap out of the dude. That's a really awesome whole fight sequence, by the way, with the whole
What?
bodies in the air when they were just like in the air and
Yeah.
using them as missiles. Cool. Like seriously, the animation of this thing was great.
Okay.
And like, anyways, he kills the dude, but he starts to rebuild the town. And the smart night creature is like, why are
Why are
you
we
having us
here? Why
here?
are we
Why are we
doing
rebuilding?
this?
And Isaac is like, somebody else could use this. And just because you are monsters built for destruction doesn't mean that's all you are.
Right?
There's probably so much more potential to you than you actually think or give yourself credit for, you know? And that type of thinking is what continues along with Isaac, and he's like thinking maybe I can do something for the world with the power that I have. So much so that his final confrontation with Hector thinks he's going to kill him,
Yeah. And at
and
first he was going
yeah,
to
he was
too.
going to kill him too, and but Isaac is like, no, I understand that you probably were an unwilling participant in this whole coup attempt, and revenge is for children. I'm still going to kill the shit out of Carmilla,
Yeah.
but we can do so much more than just be pawns to all these creatures. I like seriously. I love whoever they got to voice Isaac. I love all of Isaac's
Me
conversations.
too.
It is just like this entire parts of the show where Isaac is just speaking with other people and just conversating are like the most engaging parts of the show for me.
They
He's
are, they are.
legitimately my favorite character, and his whole journey and what he wants to probably do. Awesome.
Yeah,
We haven't
Isaac
talked
is
really
great.
about Carmilla nor the Council of Sisters now that I think
Do we
about it.
need to?
Well, yeah, I kind of like them too.
What do you want to say about them?
I like Carmilla and how all of the sisters know that Carmilla schemes a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta be careful about letting her runaway train with her ideas.
Yeah.
So their whole thing in like season 3 to 4 is about, controlling a huge amount of land with humans, like a giant farm, essentially, for a couple of centuries, and that would keep them fed and they could control all this area. They were all hesitant about it. The other three vampire sisters are just like,
Yeah.
we could probably make this work. That's why she needs Hector so he can make his night creatures. Lenore works her magic in a way on Hector and kind of becomes his friend and enslaves him. Striga and Morana. They're more Striga's the one for the army, and Morana and is more like the merchantile. Two of them are together. Two of them are SOs and whatnot. And I liked how their conversations are like, should we really be overextending our reach this much? Should we really be listening to Carmilla and her nonsense? We try to make her plans work. She just comes up with them and we try to make them work. But do we need to do anything? Can't we just not? I really like that all of them are hesitant. Lenore, Morana, Strick are just so hesitant. And the glue that really keeps them together is Carmilla. So much so that when Carmilla meets her end, Striga and Morana like, let's not.
Yes, I like that part too because
Let's just go this direction and try to live our lives.
yes, to me that was them breaking the vampire mold. You know, we talked about
Yes.
it when it happened. In a lot of things, vampires kind of like have this like super greed
And
for everything
that's
around them.
in the last conversation between Lenore and Hector as well. The whole inherent need to eat and bleed everything dry
It
that they
is that
see.
it is the essence of being vampire
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I like that Striga and Morana, they left. They were just like, let's not.
This isn't worth
This
fighting
isn't
for.
us. This isn't us. We're not going to do this. We're just going to go off and live our lives.
Yes. Yeah.
Simple.
Simple. And they do that. I like that.
Me too.
I just like when characters realize that
It's not worth
it
it.
is not worth fighting and dying over
Yeah.
this. It was perfect. They realized that Carmilla died. They
And
shed a
she
tear.
killed herself.
Yeah, she went out like, "Fuck you! You didn't win."
Yeah, yeah. She's all like, I'm not gonna give you glory of saying that you killed me.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Overall, I really liked the Vampire Sisters. It was kind of sad when Lenore just walked out into the sun and
Why was it
just
sad for you? I didn't
I
feel that way
liked
at
the
all.
character. I liked her interactions with Hector, but I understood why she just killed herself because she didn't want to hang around and being like trapped in a cage. It was good. It was good, but sad at the same time, but good. I liked the characters. This show was good.
It was good. I agree. I think that, well, maybe not everybody, but
Yeah,
it's a good watch.
if you're a fan of Castlevania in any form, you've played the games, maybe even like what read like comments or whatnot. I think they have, but if you're a fan of it, this show does such a good job. Clearly, the people who made it love the series as well, and
Yes.
they made sure to go out their way to give it every single respect. And I think that's why I really like it because I can feel that the people behind the production
Cared.
cared enough to make this something amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't just like we can take a name of a product that everybody knows and we can make something quick for cash. No, there was actual care put into making this, actual
Yeah.
good writing, animation, dialogue. They just went all in, and I really love this show. Like I knew about Castlevania when it came out, but I never got around to watching it. And I just
Hmm.
like I knew that it finished earlier this year, and then I came and talked to you about it. It's like, you want to watch this thing? But I wasn't expecting it to be so good. I've heard that it was good. I didn't, but I loved it. I really,
Yes.
really loved it.
For people like myself as well who have no prior knowledge of Castlevania, I think it is, yeah, It's totally a good watch. You will not be sorry unless you don't like gore or horror or thriller or stuff like that. Then you'll hate it. But you know, if you do, you you'll like it. You'll like it. It's a good one. It's one of the better. It's one of the better animated things.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's very good. Is that all we have to say?
I think that's mostly all we have to say. Go watch it if you haven't, and we are late on this, but go watch it.
Yeah, we're late, but when is anyone ever really on time?
Well, that's all we have to say, guys. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.
Good night, everyone.